Now, this is relaxed this evening, isn't it, don't you think, Barbara? This is sort of the Barbara and Adam 15 minutes. We promise you, because there are many of you standing, we're not going to keep you standing for more than 15 minutes or keep you away from the bar for more than 15 minutes, because neither Barbara or I, as you can see, have got a drink because we're holding too many other things. But we would like, on behalf of Padang and
Unilever,
we'd like to welcome you to our second anniversary. And can somebody keep track of the time? Because, you know, although I say we're going to be short, then I may go on. But let's... Oh, I'm in control of the slides. I've got to put the glasses on. God, it's sad, isn't it? So we've said that.
Yes.
So Level 3 is a place that's come together as curated and partnered, fathered, mothered, put together, thought about by Unilever Foundry, represented by Barbara, and Padang, represented by myself, Derek, and Daryl is in the background somewhere, and our amazing teams. And so I'm going to try to keep this story going. We're going to give you a bit of a history, because like any anniversary, you want to see what's happened in the last little while. I personally can't believe that it's just over 2 years. I mean, it has flashed by, and it wouldn't have, of course, have got here without all of you and the support and the participation that all of you have given us, whether you're members of our teams, which we obviously want to thank enormously, but you, the startups, you, the corporate partners, you, all the members who have come, people who just come to events, people who like the booze, all of which is great. But thank you very much for being. So,
that's my slide.
Over to you.
So, most of you here know us, and we know you quite well, I would say, which is a great sign that we've managed to build that community around Unilever Foundry, around Padang and Level 3. Just a little bit of history. Unilever Foundry started in June 2015, so it's a bit more than 4 years ago. We started to work with Padang & Co., looking for the best startups for Unilever to engage, to partners, and to pilot new technologies. We have demonstrated a certain impact, and we've got the trust of our management to go a step further and experiment ourselves. And in February 2017, we have actually decided to co-create the space, Level 3. Still not super proud of the name, but everybody recognized it. So it's on the third floor. No, the problem we have is if we want to do more Level 3s, we need to find the third floor of a building.
No, it's a brand. I'll speak to you about that later. I mean, it's okay. We can deal with that. So on the 14th of February 2017, many of you were here. And of course, we opened on Valentine's Day, because this place is all about love. There's lots of love. There's love between Barbara and I and all the gang, startups and corporates. This is what it's about, people getting together and being one special Valentine. Now, over to the slides. There we are. So, how many... well, actually, I was supposed to ask the question, what are the 5 focus areas? But now I've given away the answer. So, this is something we're a little bit different about. We'll talk about this a little bit later. I'm not going to read them all. You can read. There are 5 focus areas for Level 3.
So to date, after
2 years.
Yes, after 2 years.
That's why it's the second anniversary. Boom, boom.
It's a jet lag. We've got 72 startups in this space. Big round of applause.
Woo!
Woo! We've got 268 members. Woo! And 50 mentors. Woo!
Whoa!
Thank you to Unilever and all our external mentors to be part of it.
And we've got lots of corporate partners as well. So a big round of applause for all our corporate partners that are here. And we're going to explain a little bit more about that in a little moment's time. So,
today, as you know, Unilever Foundry is an important part of Level 3 to help those pilots to take off. So one of the important KPIs that we have as a team is to identify the right startups we can partner with. Today, we are working with 35% of the startups based out of Level 3.
And more to come. So, This actually is the 331st event that we've had. I'm not supposed to shout, I'm sorry. The 331st event that we've had in 2 years, which is pretty amazing. So thank you to all our Level 3 staff, past and present, to Upma, Dylan, Shu, Ridwan, everybody else that's here. Thank you all and all the Padang staff for making these events possible. And 330 events. 15,500, now add another 200. So 15,000, nearly 16,000 people have been through the door. For all you data folks, there's 16,000 easy data points. Multiply that by all the characteristics, and there's trillions of data points that we're collecting, which you all can be a part of. And so again, thank you all for coming and making it happen.
And the last figure, 34,500 cups of coffee served, which is very important to maintain the community. It's always a tough discussion we have between us. Should we keep or not keep the coffee?
So what do you think? Should we keep the coffee or let it go?
We keep the coffee.
What?
Hey, that's the thing. That's the thing. But coffee is important, and this is where we want to go today. It's you're right. Beautiful.
Oops.
We are here. We wanted to share a little bit, after 2 years, we wanted to share a little bit about the key learnings we've got together, building that ecosystem, building Level 3, and give you a couple of tips. So, coffee, why is it important? You need the water cooler effect. And it's always great to be able to meet people, to understand who is based out of Level 3, but also who is from Unilever coming to Level 3. It's easier to talk about your startups and your technology or about your needs with a cup of coffee. It's also a great opportunity, and I'm going to thank the Foundry team who is in the room to meet us, because we are at Level 3 on a regular basis. So if you need a connection with Unilever, that's why we are here. And it's coffee creates serendipity. Coffee creates the opportunity for you to talk about what you are working. And we do see, and corporates, anyone do see a lot of slides and get a lot of PowerPoints and meetings, etc. Sometimes just by talking to each other, exactly like in this kind of environment, it's sometimes easier to get your message out there. So that's our first learning, get coffee.
And what else do you think that we've learned about the structure? There's no script here, obviously, as you can see. It's all just naturally flowing.
Yeah, it is. So I think when we had the opportunity to think about building something to help startups to grow, we had the opportunity to take over that space, and we were jumping on the idea to build a co-working space for startups. The co-working space with the vision to help startups to springboard in Singapore, but also in Southeast Asia. Very quickly, I would say about 6 months in the journey, we realized that it was not really about the co-working space itself. It was about the ecosystem around the co-working space. You see, today we are working with about 35% of the startups based on Level 3. And I think that figure will remain like this. What we are bringing on top of that, we are bringing partners around Unilever, but also external partners that are part of the startup ecosystem in Singapore and the region. We are bringing in VCs, we are bringing thought leaderships, we organize those events are part of the community that we want to build. So moving into the ecosystem thinking was one of our big learning. It's not about the space where you work, it's about the people you can meet and the project you can actually run.
And I guess the other thing that we've also learned, so from thinking, okay, we have to go ecosystem, we've got to go big. But at the same time, we realized if we just had ecosystem that everybody's in there in the mix, it's not always quite as effective. So we've gone with focus. And that's why we have the 5 pillars. So that serves to help both the people who are coming here, they know what they should be focusing on. But also from a Unilever point of view, when the folks upstairs, if they're coming down, and remember, lots of corporate partners coming in here, but they know what the startups are doing, what are the particular areas, so they can focus on knowing what the tech is, what the areas are. So if you are a startup here, you know that you're in a kind of predefined sort of pillar area, so it makes it easier for Unilever to engage with you and all the other corporate partners. So again, focus delivers greater impact for us.
that's our very 3 big learnings for anyone else in the room who would like to build something similar, would like to partner as well, but also with startups who are looking at, working from a co-working space or such a place like Level3.
But I think, actually, how many people would identify themselves as corporates versus startups in the room?
Corporates.
Corporates, MNCs, large companies. Okay, they're all standing on that side of the room. That's interesting. Why? All trying to get close to the exit or the bar. I'm not quite sure which. But I think one of the things, if you're thinking about doing this in your own organizations, the level 3, kind of part of the very much the secret sauce is the fact that the foundry is here. I think if you all of a sudden try to jump in and create this type of space without having had the foundry, which made Unilever, innovation ready, startup connected, a clear commitment, and also for the long term. And I think that's really important. And that, to me, has been one of the key reasons that it's been able to work, because kind of the gravitational pull, to quote a friend, of Unilever and the Unilever foundry makes that really important. But the actual foundry itself is really key. It's not just Unilever upstairs, but it's the operation of the foundry.
Because we are here to facilitate the relationship, but also to identify the briefs. We are here, the team working on the foundry is here to talk to Tejas and Hans, that I can see from here, that have problem statements. They are currently working on many, many things, and they do believe that there is areas where startup can help. We are collecting those information and then feeding it back to the level 3 ecosystem and the startup ecosystem around us.
And equally, I think for what's good about here, and I sort of featured that slide about the corporate partners, 7 corporate partners. Now, and again, the whole idea of an ecosystem, it's not an ecosystem if there's just one large MNC, one large enterprise. But the thing about the corporate partners being here, so it has 2 benefits. One, Unilever doesn't have to feel pressured that it's got to try to deal with all the startups here. There are another 7 corporates here who are providing enormous opportunities to engage both with one another, but also the startups. And each of those large corporates, of course, are part of their own ecosystems, which they bring into the space. And so we get the network effect going in a major way. Because let's face it, we all want to be platforms, we all want to have networks, because we're all trying to get to that next 10 million, the next 100 million, the billion. And it's only if we've got enough of these large organisations working together that we can do it. So anyone, that again, I think is a key lesson that we've learned here. But it's also, as I say, 2 benefits. Unilever doesn't feel they have to do all the heavy lifting. There are others, and there's just more opportunities overall.
So, who are the startup in the room?
On this side of the room.
That's so quiet. Okay. So I do have for you 2 tips as a startup, as an entrepreneur, when you have to look for a space to work from, and then we'll close our boring speech. But co-working space, it's important for you to identify who is in the space. Wherever you're working from, in Singapore or everywhere else, you have to look about the network. And who is around you. Here you have Unilever, obviously, you have the other partners, like Adam has mentioned, but it is also all the other people and other entrepreneurs that are around you and can help you to also build a great product. We have a couple of examples of startups talking to each other and building a new product, or delivering a new solution together. And the second thing, you might not like that advice, but I would say that you have to think about, you have to be available. You have to understand that, yes, okay, when you work with Unilever, we are a big corporate, we might be slow. But what you have in front of you is also great experts, and it's an opportunity for you to get expertise and knowledge. Unilever, but also our partners. I mean, we have Daniel here from WPP, who's working very regularly with startups and delivering these help. You have to be available, you have to come to events. We organize every Tuesday that lunchtime talk, which is just 15 to 20 people from Unilever. You can just pitch and receive feedback and progress. So as much as we want to organize events, you have to get yourself available as well. You have to, don't hesitate to come around the public area. If you know that I saw Daniel? No, yeah, thank you. I mean, he's regularly working from level 3 and having a tea here almost every morning around 9. If you know that, and if you're a startup and you want some
We're not
contact,
encouraged stalking or anything here.
you can create that opportunity for you as a startup. So that's all I have. And we only wish you to grow successfully in Singapore and from Singapore and the rest of the world.
And I guess my closing point would also be that we truly believe that no one MNC can solve all the problems that as a planet we might be facing. No one startup's going to do it. But it really is trying to organise these types of events so that we can collaborate. I think Unilever, is gold class in showing how that they're collaborating with startups. I mean, 35% on the floor working with Unilever is a great result. So it is possible, it is achievable, it's not marketing blah. We live it day to day. We all work it. Barbara and the team are down here all the time, making things happen, making simple connections. I mean, just tonight I've just dragged a few people together that I'm sure those meetings will actually go to something. Today, tomorrow, maybe not. But this year, yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. And as Barbara said, life is certainly about 95% about turning up, and turning up often. We turn up every day, maybe not 365 days a year, but a fair number of them. So please come in, join up in whichever. There's so many different levels of membership. You might say, oh, no, this one doesn't suit me. There's something for everyone. If you see one of those pillars making sense for you, I'd certainly encourage, talk to any of the guys here. We'd love to have you. Now, if you haven't heard enough, here is Barbara on the level.
Missing coffee.
Level 3 via Padang is sort of released the first co-working space, Level 3, to have its own podcast on the level, powered by our friends at ATP. See the banner? Where's Graham? I can see him there standing up. The great podcaster of Singapore. If you're interested in podcasting, speak to Graham. But better still, listen to us. We've put down how many tracks now? We've put down 2. It's 3. Oh, we've put down 3. I can't even count. And there's a lot more coming. So please take note of that. Listen to them all. There's some really interesting interviews that we've already done, and we'll bringing lots more to you soon. So stay, enjoy. Please meet people. Everyone's here to meet and celebrate. Don't be shy. No one's standing alone. If you see someone standing alone, please say hi. Thank you all very much for your support, and look forward to seeing you at the 3rd anniversary and every day in between. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.